glad to see you guys this afternoon. I should be talking to my 4th and 5th graders. We are working on part 2 of our mandala color wheel. Today we're going to be focusing on the color wheel and just like expanding on the learning that we should already have. You know, our primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. And when we mix a primary with another primary, we're going to get what we call as secondary colors. Miss Vaughn often refers to that as it takes 2 primary colors to make a secondary color. So second and 2 are those key words that we use when we're talking about mixing colors. And the secondary colors include orange, green, and purple. There is an even more expansion of color that we've dabbled in before, but it's called tertiary colors. And tertiary colors is when you take a secondary color and a primary and you mix them together. You're going to get colors that are like a red-orange, red being the primary and orange being the secondary color. You're going to expand on that color wheel, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We obviously have 12 pie slices to our mandala, and we have to divide those up evenly so that we can make sure we're putting the right colors in the right sections. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is we're going to start with primary. So I'm going to start with markers. Boys and girls, you can use any materials you have at home. I'm going to do colored pencils. I'm going to use all that I've got. So whatever you have is going to be perfectly okay with this project. Now, here is my color wheel. I'm going to take one section and I'm going to make that my red section. When you start with red, we're actually going to skip 3 spaces, 1 for our secondary color and then our 2 tertiary colors. So if red starts at the top, I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3 sections, and this section over here is going to be my pure yellow. So Miss Vaughn again is going to go in there with some different materials to kind of fill in the yellow section of my color. Yellow. So again, you're going to do a primary, tertiary, secondary, tertiary, primary. So we're going to skip 3 more sections and do our very last primary, which is blue. Rolling with this assignment, you're going to start coming up with sort of a pattern, as in Mrs. Vaughn always did her wavy lines as marker, and then you decide where your color pencil is going to go. So if you're using mixed media and you're choosing different materials, consistently, like, always do the marker on the outside edge or something along those lines. You could make this really simple and completely color that pie slice with a crayon or use marker the whole way. I'm just kind of mixing it up because I have the chance to do. So now that I have my primary colors, we're actually going to take a primary color red and the primary color blue, and when we mix those together we get a purple. Okay, So this little one right here is going to end up being purple. So my pattern for painting is going to be painted, skip a space, painting, which is purple, skip a space, blue. Red and yellow make orange, and that's going to be paint, skip a space, orange, skip a space, paint. Certainly last but not least, I have what color makes yellow and blue together? They create green. Guys, I want you to remember craftsmanship. Mrs. Vaughn is always expecting you to make the best work you can make, and an easy way to do that is just to take your time. So if you want to put on music while you're following along with me, that's a lovely idea. Or if you like to sit down in a quiet space and do an audiobook, please do that as well. It's whatever's going to make you work the best. And I know some of my Four Sister Eagles love our power art time, so that is completely silence focused. You are like a camera, you're zoomed in on what you are working on, and you're doing the best that you can. So keep that craftsmanship up, even though I'm not there to help you out. If you ever need anything, just shoot me a message through email, okay? Let me finish up our secondary color and then we'll get on to our tertiary section, okay? Sweet. Talk about our tertiary colors, and your tertiary colors are going to be very easily created when you're looking at a color wheel as finished as ours is. Start with red, so let's go up to the red section. You're gonna look at the blank pie slice and see which is to the right and which is to the left, or space, and you're going to mix those two colors together to create your missing color. So that's gonna be your primary mixed with your secondary, and then you're going to create your tertiary color. So this is going to make that red violet or that red purple in this section. When I move on over here, I'm going to have a blue purple or a blue violet. And then when I move over here, this is going to make a blue green. Over here is going to make a yellow green. And when I move over here, we're going to have a yellow orange and a red orange. I would advise to pick a medium to play with. Miss Vaughn used all three. Some of them are going to look great. Some of them are, it's an experiment. It's science. So let's see which works the best. We're going to start with red and move on to a red orange. So let's take a look at this one a little bit closer. All right, so you are having this battle between the two colors. You're gonna try to bring out the orange and the red at an even amount. So some of your materials are gonna work better than the others. Looking at this right now, my markers are pretty much overshot by the red. But my color pencils and my watercolors did a lot better job for the color mixing. So if you're only choosing one material for this assignment, I would at least do color pencils or watercolor. If you're using the markers, I think when it comes to the tertiary colors, you should try to use something else, just to make sure that our color wheel is like full expansion of the colors we're trying to create. But again, like I said earlier, it's a giant science experiment, so we're exploring and seeing what we can make. So I'm going to keep going through the others while you watch, and let's see what we come up with. Sounds good? All right, see you soon. Her warm side colored, taken care of. Guys, so now it's our turn to go in here and work on the tertiary colors that are on the cool side of the color wheel. So the first step we're going to jump into is starting always at red, and then we're going to do a red, purple, or red, violet, depending on what color wheel and what materials you're using. Let's do the lightest color first and then build on top with the darker color, because that will give you the most control in creating those tertiary colors. That's going to end up being creating is my green and my blue. It's going to be more of like a teal or a blue-green, and so that will be next. Saturation in some of my primary and secondary colors, I'm going in over them with a layer 2 of watercolor, just so they become more vibrant. Since our tertiary colors are taking 2 colors, it's essentially 2 layers, and so their vibrancy is a lot more than our other ones. So I'm about to do my last one. It's my yellow green, or a lot of people would call it a lime green. And then you guys will be all set and ready to roll. Voila! All right, guys, here is your primary, secondary, and tertiary color wheel. I hope you guys enjoyed making this week, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Make sure you check out the website and look for different activities for your family to do. There's a story time for my sweet littles if you want to be learning more about color that way. There's resources below this so you can watch other videos about mixing your colors and your paints. I hope you enjoy. Bye!